Jerome Donkie Booysen's life is a story that almost seems too dramatic for reality. It is a journey that begins with a young sportsman who had promise on the rugby field and later served as a trusted building inspector for the city of Cape Town. But behind his regular job and quiet presence in a working-class suburb, rumors bubbled non-stop. They spoke of secret meetings, hushed phone calls, and a powerful circle of figures in the Cape Flats underworld. Over time, the stories grew into headlines linking Jerome to the Sexy Boys gang, an organization known to have its hands in everything from nightclub security to drug trafficking. Even his name changed in the public eye, from simply Jerome to Donkie, a nickname uttered in fearful whispers across local neighborhoods. For 20 years, Jerome was a civil servant who seemed to mind his own business. He lived with his family, kept a low profile, and wore the standard clothes of an office worker. Neighbors saw a polite, ordinary man heading off to his job each day. Many might have been shocked to hear rumors that this same man was leading one of Cape Town's most feared gangs. Those rumors hinted that the Sexy Boys, originally led by Jerome and his brothers, Michael and Colin, had ruled sections of the Cape Flats since the 1990s. But the everyday image of Jerome was different: a father, a husband, a man who contributed to society by working for the city. The contrast between what people expected from a typical gangster boss and what they saw in Jerome was so stark that some thought it must be a mistake. Yet, as time wore on, whispers of double lives and hidden fortunes steadily transformed into something harder to dismiss. Early in his youth, Jerome had shown promise on the rugby field. Some said his strength and disciplined approach to the sport were signs of a determined spirit. That same determination would later show itself in the underworld as he confidently climbed the ranks of power. Michael and Colin, Jerome's older brothers, shared that same boldness. Together, the three formed the backbone of the Sexy Boys gang, a violent organization that left its mark on Cape Town's street scene. Their territory centered on Belleville and the surrounding areas, but their influence supposedly reached well into the city center. People said that the Booysen brothers launched their criminal careers with smaller jobs, perhaps controlling a few local corners where they sold drugs. They gained a reputation for being firm but cool-headed, cunning rather than reckless. The turning point came when other leaders were taken out, either by prison sentences or drive-by hits. Empty seats at the top of the gang hierarchy left a space for someone with the right mix of brains and guts. That's when Jerome stepped in. He was patient, strategic, and understood the importance of juggling legal fronts, like property or security businesses, to hide alleged illegal dealings. He also had a knack for keeping a calm face in public, never boasting about how much sway he might have behind closed doors. In the late 2000s, a name that appeared frequently alongside Jerome's was Mark Lifman. Mark was known for wearing crisp suits, driving luxury cars, and talking about million-rand property deals. From the outside, he seemed to be a straightforward property mogul who had discovered the secret to real estate success in places like Belha and Delft. But behind these deals, according to rumors, was the quiet presence of Jerome Donkie Booysen and the Sexy Boys. Some stories suggested that Jerome and Mark used these properties for large-scale abalone trades or for building drug labs hidden away from the law. While all this was alleged and never conclusively proven in court, it was enough to keep people talking. One case that set authorities on Jerome's trail happened in Durbanville. A Mandrax factory was discovered, and the property was allegedly tied back to him. Jerome claimed that he was just the landlord and had no clue what his tenants were up to. The police, however, grew more suspicious. How could a city employee, presumably on a modest wage, amass real estate worth millions of rands? The question alone drew attention from newspapers, local communities, and investigators alike. Still, Jerome shrugged it off, saying that he had a knack for property investment and luck on his side. Beyond that, Few details were ever confirmed in court, leaving the public to form their own conclusions. The name Sexy Boys might sound unusual, but by the 1990s, it struck fear into many Cape Flats residents. The group was known for violence, territorial fights, and an ability to adapt to changing times. When the drug trade was profitable, they focused on that. When nightclub security contracts opened new possibilities, they switched gears seamlessly. Jerome was rumored to be the comm center of these operations, while his brother Colin was known for being more impulsive. Colin's time behind bars for murdering a police officer made him a feared figure, yet his hot-blooded approach could draw the wrong kind of attention. Michael also served prison time, leaving Jerome to hold the gang together. By the mid-2000s, Jerome's alliance with Mark Lifman appeared to pay off. Clubs in Cape Town CBD needed bouncers and security teams. Fights between rival partygoers could quickly spiral into something bigger, and many club owners wanted peace. That's where Jerome and Mark came in, offering protection. However, critics whispered that this protection was just a cover for controlling the flow of illegal substances into the clubs, everything from mandrax to cocaine. The arrangement meant that Jerome's clique could collect protection fees or percentages from sales, which, if the rumors were correct, padded pockets on both sides. The underworld is a shifting sea, and alliances do not last forever. People say that jealousy, ambition, and betrayals eventually drove a wedge between Mark and others who wanted a bigger piece of the profits. In 2011, Mark's former associate, Cyril Beaker, was killed in what looked like a meticulously planned drive-by shooting. Some speculated that Jerome or Mark had a hand in it, but there was never enough proof to pin it on them. With Beaker gone, an entire line of security contracts seemed up for grabs, and Jerome and Mark expanded their reach. But that growth came at a cost. Tensions rose among the men who once stood shoulder to shoulder with Jerome. His brother Colin, fresh out of prison, wanted to relaunch his old projects. He bought a few taxis, seeking to carve out a share in the taxi business. He also expected to enter the family security and drug distribution networks. Jerome, however, was careful about whom he let in. This tension escalated until a blowout in 2016, culminating in an official negotiation that separated Colin from Jerome's circle. The feud between the two brothers grew violent. Allegations of hits and assassinations emerged, painting a dizzying picture of the Cape Town underworld. Meanwhile, a series of assassination attempts on Jerome himself made headlines. Each time, reports would say, "Shots fired at Donkie Booysen," or "Gang boss escapes hail of bullets." By late 2020, attacks on Jerome were still making news. In one instance, while attending a funeral in Durbanville, he was shot at again. The gunfire sent mourners ducking behind tombstones. Fast forward to 2023, and the violence was far from over. Jerome's son, Joel, also became a target. The saga of Mark Lifman came to a dramatic end in November 2024 when he was gunned down outside the Garden Route Mall in George. His death reignited speculation about underworld power shifts. Some believed it was a warning to Jerome. Others thought it was a deal gone sour. Through it all, Jerome continued to appear in court, facing accusations of murder, drug trafficking, and other crimes. Yet, time and again, witnesses vanished, recanted statements, or turned up dead. If there is any lesson in Jerome Donkie Booysen's life so far, it is that no one is invulnerable. Fortunes can shift in an instant, allies can become enemies overnight, and old friends can pay the ultimate price. The deep entanglement between crime and corruption has left Cape Town haunted by the sense that behind every official statement, there might be a more ruthless operation pulling the strings. Thank you for watching. Please go ahead to give this video a like, drop a comment and subscribe to this channel. See you in our next video.